Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our first video for Unit 2. Unit 2 is going to be focused on net income. The first unit that we did was focused on gross income. This is the money that the company, whoever you're working for, pays you. However, as you probably know, you don't see all of that money. Not all of that money makes it to you. You have to pay taxes on some of that money. So when we talk about net income, we're talking about gross income minus whatever you have to pay in taxes. Now, no one likes the idea of having to pay money, but taxes are, in general, a good thing. It is through taxes that we have things such as schools, such as roads, such as police officers, such as other government entities. That's why we have taxes, so we can pay for these things so we don't have to try and do everything ourselves. All of our taxes go to fund that. So like we said, gross pay minus the taxes that you have to pay is equal to your net income. And so this unit, we're going to be talking a lot about all the different types of taxes you might have to pay that might come out of your paycheck. Towards the end of the unit, we'll even take a look at a paycheck and see, okay, this is what this means, this is what this means, and so on and so forth. To start off, we're going to start with, I think, probably the biggest taxes that everyone pays, and then we're going to kind of narrow it down to taxes only some people pay, and then even more specific stuff. So what we're going to start off with is called the federal income tax. The goal of today's video is to be able to find the amount of money that is withheld for federal income tax. Withheld means taken out of paycheck. How much money is taken out of your paycheck and goes to the federal government for, again, funding things that we as a society want. Federal income tax, again, is simply money that is withheld from your paycheck to pay federal taxes. There's almost no math or very little math involved in determining how much you're paying in federal income tax. There is a process that is very easy, and I will show you exactly where and how to do this process. Step number 1 says find the income range from federal tax tables. We don't have a textbook, so we can cross off this part. We don't need that. You're going to be given some papers called the federal tax tables. It is just a big table full of numbers that you're going to learn how to use. Step 2, find the column for the correct number of allowances. And step 3, find the amount of income to be withheld. So it's about time that I show you the federal tax tables. You'll each get a copy of this. This is the federal tax table. It's just 2 pages. Okay, stapled. At least that's the one we'll be using. And there's also going to be, will also be posted online. So, what the federal tax tables, there's a lot of information on this. So there's 2 pages. This says, this first one is for people who are single, who file taxes as a single person. And there's also a page for married people. There's different amounts of withholding depending on if you're single or if you're married. Notice that this says single persons for a weekly payroll period. Okay, so this is based on your weekly salary. So it's important to be able to calculate your weekly salary if you're not told that already. Over on the right or left-hand side, there are 2 columns that are very important. It says at least and then but less than. You'll notice that we have numbers that kind of correspond. So if you look at this first row, it says at least $0 but less than $55. That would be for people who make between $0 and $55, $0 and $54.99 per week. They would look at that row. The next row down says at least $55 but less than $60. That row would be for anyone who makes between $55 and $59.99 per week. Now obviously that's fairly low, but it goes all the way up to, on the very bottom of the first page, at least $590, but less than $600. That would be for people who make somewhere between $590 and $599.99 per week. This is also continued on the back, and we go all the way up to people who make at least $1,240 per week, but less than $1,250 per week. And I'm sure it goes on farther and farther, but this is all we're going to look at. The other part, as you keep going to the right, you'll see some numbers here. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it says the number of withholding allowances claimed is. So what this means is when you're asked to pay your federal income tax, you claim a number of allowances that is equal to or less than the number of people that are in your household that you are directly supporting. So you can claim less than the total number of people. For example, if I had 4 people in my house that I was supporting, including me, I could claim either 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 allowances. I couldn't claim 5 through 10. So it's got to be equal to or less than the number of people in your household that you are supporting. So we've got on the left all these different rows for amounts of money people make, and on the right, all these numbers representing the number of allowances people take for how many people are in their family. The intersection of those for a specific situation is how much money you would pay in federal income tax. So let's do the first one as an example. Again, I'm going to give you those papers soon if you don't already have them, and I will also post them online. First example, Carla Garza's gross pay for this week is $425.88. She is married and claims 2 allowances, herself and her husband. What amount will be withheld from Garza's pay for federal income tax? That's what FIT stands for, federal income tax. So you should remember that. So on our federal income tax tables, we're going to go to the married page. And she makes $425.88. That means we're looking at this row right here. At least $420, but less than $430. That's where she falls in. Now, there's so many numbers here that I might even do something like this. I might take another, like a blank piece of paper or a ruler or something, and I might put it right under there so I'm not tempted to accidentally go down and read the wrong row. So, this person, Carla Garza, makes $425.88 per week. That's right between these two numbers. And it said that she claims 2 allowances. So since she claims 2 allowances, I'm going to go to the 2 allowances column, and I'm going to go down until I get to the row that's for between $420 and $430. I see the number 12 there. Well, that's my answer for how much money is withheld from her paycheck per week. So that means out of her paycheck to pay federal income tax, $12 is taken out. So if that was the only tax that was taken out, she would be taking home $413.88. That's not the only tax that's going to be taken out, most likely, but that's the idea. You take the gross pay and you subtract from that any taxes you have to pay. Anyways, that's the process. You figure out how much money they make per week, figure out how many allowances they claim, and see where that row and that column on the chart intersect. Let's do another example. Lance Hahn's gross pay for this week is $386.88. He is married and claims 1 allowance. What amount will be withheld from Hahn's pay for FIT? So his gross pay is $386.88. He's married, so I need the married page, and he claims 1 allowance. Okay, $386.88 would be in the 380 to 390 column. So I'm going to block that off. I think he said he claims 1 allowance, so I'm going to go to the 1 column, and it says 15. That means that he is going to pay $15 in federal income tax. That's it. That's all you have to do. So you need to be good at reading this table. Find the amount of FIT, federal income tax, withheld. Joseph Napoli is single. He earns $524 per week, and he claims 2 allowances. So I go to the single page. I go down to, $524 per week and 2 allowances. So $520 per week is right here. 520 to 530. 2 allowances. There's the 2 column. Means he pays $41 in federal income tax per week. Now, before we get to the last example, I do want to point a few things out. If you look at the patterns that emerge on this federal income tax table, you'll notice that the more money you make, okay, the greater your weekly wages are, then the more money you have to pay in federal income tax. And that makes sense. People who make more money are able to pay more money in taxes, okay? It's not a proportional amount. You're still making more money if you, just because the income tax goes up doesn't mean you don't make as much money. How do I want to say this? The amount of income tax that you're paying goes up slower than the amount of actual gross pay that you're getting. So making more money is it's a good thing. You want to make as much money as possible. It's just that your income tax payments will be higher if you make more money than if someone who makes less money, but you're still going to end up with more money anyways. You should also notice that the more allowances that you claim, the less federal income tax you have to pay. So for example, if I go all the way down to the very bottom of the chart, for the person who's making $590 to $600 per week, if they claim 0 allowances, that's possible, you can claim 0, they pay $74 out of their paycheck. If they claim 1, 63. They claim 2, 52, 41, 29, 18, 10, 3. And if they claim 8 or more, they actually don't take any money out of your federal income tax. Now you might be saying, well, then why wouldn't you always claim the maximum number of people? That has to do with getting an income tax payment back at the end of the year. If you claim a lower number, you'll pay more up front, but you also might get a refund at the end of the year. If you claim a higher number, or the higher number as far as is possible in your family situation, you will pay less up front, but you might not get as big of a refund at the end of the year. So that's why those are the two big trends to understand on the table. Our last example is the only one where we're going to have to do a little bit of math here today. It says Amanda Hagel earns $476 a week. She is married and claims 2 allowances. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. Married and claims 2 allowances. Next year, she will have a child and will claim an additional allowance. How much less will be withheld for federal income tax each week next year? So we're going to have to do a couple different things. It's crucial that you read this entire statement. She earns $476 a week. She's married and claims 2 allowances. So I need the married page, and I need to go to 476. Okay, that would be between 470 and 480. And she claims 2 allowances. That means $17. Next year, she's going to claim 3 allowances. She's going to have a baby. She'll only have to pay $9 in federal income tax per week next year. We want to know how much less she's paying. So that's pretty simple to do. 17 minus 9 is 8. So now she's paying $17. Next year, she's paying $9. We subtract those, and we see that she's going to be paying $8 less per week next year because she is adding another allowance to the family. She's having a kid. Her family is growing, so she doesn't have to pay as much income tax up front. Okay? That's pretty much it with federal income tax. It's very straightforward. You just have to know how to use that chart. I think that's pretty much it for what I want to do for this video. I'll be back. We'll talk about other types of taxes soon. Until then, have a nice day. I'll see you later.